Hello Star Wars fans, welcome to episode 8 of Journey into Legends. Today we are going to be talking about Lando Calrissian and the Starcave of ThonBoka by L. Neil Smith. Lando Calrissian and the Starcave of ThonBoka was released in 1983 and is the third and final installment of the Lando Calrissian Adventures trilogy. If you haven't seen my previous two reviews, I suggest you go back and watch those as I'll probably end up referencing them. If you have seen my previous reviews, you'll know that I've been enjoying this trilogy quite a bit thus far, so I'm excited to read this final book in the series. I hope this book can improve on some of the issues I had previously, while also maintaining the level of quality from the other two installments. Without further ado, let's read and review. Alright, I have just finished my read-through of Lando Calrissian and the Starcave of ThonBoka, and I have to say I really enjoyed this book. Skip to the timestamp on screen to avoid spoilers. To start with my positives, I think this book excelled at presenting interesting ideas such as the ThonBoka, the Oswaft, and other elements of the story, and integrating these concepts into the overall narrative. The plot of this book was well handled. I especially loved how the antagonists of the trilogy, Roker Gepta and his Imperial Navy, Klin Shanga and his fighter squadron, and the archaeologist Osuno Wet came together for a common goal. I also loved the conflict that came with that, especially between Shanga and Gepta. This book also delved deep into our characters and their backstories. We learned more about characters like Roker Gepta, Klin Shanga, Osuno Wet, and especially Vufi Ra. Another thing I loved about this book was that it fixed one of my biggest issues with the last two books, the running gag of Vufi Ra calling Lando Master. It happened about 100 times in each book, and it got old really quick. But in this book, it's explained that Vufi Ra refused to call his previous master, Osuno Wet, by that title, which for me justified the running gag completely. We also met some new characters in this book, specifically the Oswaft, which are basically space mantas that can go through hyperspace and materialize molecular substances. Just truly a unique idea for a species, and I love them. For negatives, I only have one. I think the droids that created Vufi Ra were a bit too out there for a Lando novel. To me, it felt out of place and outlandish compared to the rest of the book. I like how they were incorporated into the story and their inclusion made sense, but personally it felt tonally jarring. As you can see, that's a simple nitpick I had with the book. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. Comparing it to the other two books in the trilogy, I definitely prefer it over the Flame Wind of Ocean. I've decided to give this book a 78%, which makes it a tie between this book and The Mind Harp of Sharu. Personally, if I had to choose between the two, I think I prefer The Mind Harp of Sharu by a thin margin. Both are great books, but overall, The Mind Harp of Sharu managed to capture me more. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for my next video, where I'll be reviewing the infamous Jedi Prince series. See ya.